Hey YouTube, G Sharp Jams back for another quick video. You can see I'm not in my studio today. I'm actually in my house, sitting down, lounging back on my couch. And I was actually just putting together some notes on the next few videos that I'm going to be making for you guys out there. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. But while I was doing that, I actually had a thought about something that I read in a couple of blogs, and I actually saw a few videos on here on YouTube, and I thought I'd discuss it with you today because this is just going to be a quick one. And before I forgot about it, I just wanted to get to it. So let's just discuss this. There is a train of thought out there among some people, mixing and mastering and engineering, that suggest that a good way to go back and listen to what you've created is either very loud or very low. And the principle behind this, as they explain it, is if you listen to your tracks very loud with the volume cranked way up, you'll be able to hear everything, and anything that you can't hear, that will tell you that you need to turn that particular track up some more. On the flip side of that, they say you can either do that or you can listen to your mix at a very low level. And what this does is it forces you to listen more carefully. And by listening more carefully, you'll hear what doesn't stand out in the mix. So you go back to that track and turn it up. Now, I want you to just think about that for a second. When you listen to the radio or whatever it is, and you turn up the volume very high, what is the first thing that you experience? And I'm talking about they're suggesting very high. What do you hear when you do that? Distortion. And what does distortion do? Distortion goes across everything else and it drowns out what you're listening to so you can't clearly hear anything. So my question is, if you're drowning things out, you can't hear them clearly anymore because of the distortion that you've created by cranking this thing way up, how can you possibly judge everything else in the mix that's going on if you can't hear it clearly? Again, on the flip side of that, they suggest turning everything down very low. And if you can't hear something clearer above or equal to everything else in the mix, then you need to turn that up. But now think about this. If you are listening to something at a very low level, now think about your ears and think about the human brain. What happens there? Sound goes into the ears, it feeds that sound into your brain. Your brain takes care of it and deciphers it and tells you, okay, here's what you're hearing. But if you have something down very low, what is your ear actually picking up to send to your brain? That your brain makes adjustments. And what you hear very loud and what you hear very low and what you hear at nominal levels are three completely different things according to your brain. And your brain decides what it's going to tell you that you're listening to. So, let me say this. I'm not suggesting don't do this, but I am suggesting just think about it. It just, to me, the best thing to do is listen to your tracks at a nominal level. And by nominal, I mean listen to your tracks at normal listening levels, the way you would listen to it on your home stereo system or the way you would listen to it in your car or wherever you may be. Listen to it at normal levels, the way anybody else would be listening to your music, and then you will hear exactly what you want to hear and how it should be heard, and then you can make your adjustment and say, okay, well, the snare drum maybe a little bit too loud here. The vocal I need to bring up a little bit and center it a little bit more. Things of that nature. Do it at a nominal level. Don't turn everything all the way up and turn everything all the way down and think that's a technique. My personal opinion, it's not a technique. It doesn't work. If you're doing this and it works for you, if it works for you and you've experimented with it, go ahead and keep doing it, because like I always say, there are no rules in this game. Think about it. If you take a look at the solid state logic LMC compressor, that module was actually created because of a mistake that was made in the studio. They just happened to stumble upon this technique by accident. and turned it into a module. Take a look at gated reverb on a snare drum, done by experimentation. Never existed before until somebody experimented with it and say, hey, that sounds great. Experiment, find out what works for you. But some things you just got to think about and say, you know what? When I really think about that, it's not adding up, and it's not making any sense to me. Until next time, G Sharp Jams out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, tell your friends about the channel. I got plenty of videos coming up for you. Sitting here in my living room playing them all out for you right now. Appreciate your time. Keep watching. Have a great rest of your day.